Assalamu alaikum. I am Maryam Gohar, your host, and this is the episode of our podcast series that is dedicated to the alumni of COMSATS University, Islamabad. We have taken this opportunity to interact with our alumni of COMSATS University in a very interactive session. So, without any further delay, let's present our guest, Ms. Sara Qadree. Assalamu alaikum, Ms. Sara. कैसी हैं आप?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm so fine. Ms. Sara is actually a graduate from Department of Computer Science, Bachelor 2015. She is currently working at Telenor Pakistan in a technology department. Not only this, she is a Convergent Billing Analyst. She's also expert in IoT Products, growth hacking, and it's also a QA Analyst. MashaAllah. So, how do you feel revisit your alma mater?
So it's been like 5 years since I last came to COMSATS, and when I was entering the campus, it was a bit emotional because all of the memories started flooding back to me right away. And seeing the campus and how it's looking right now, it's so different from back then. Back when we used to come here back in 2012, 2013, a lot has changed. But yeah, it does feel like home somehow, even in a sort of a twisted manner, even though COMSATS gave a bit of a rocky journey at times, but still, COMSATS is home in that manner.
Exactly, I can feel it. And how can you share your experience after graduating from COMSATS University? How was that experience?
Okay, after graduating back in 2015, I actually started working at COMSATS as well. So I became a teacher's associate for one of the professors in our computer science department. So for me, it took a while longer for me to graduate officially from COMSATS in a way, because I worked here for 3-4 months. I left in January of 2016. I started a new job, but before then I was still at COMSATS. So for me, it didn't really hit that I've actually officially graduated from COMSATS and that part of my life has ended and my degree has ended. It just sort of felt like a continuation of those 4 years. And after graduating and after the leadership ended, when I started working as a QA analyst for a gaming studio, it felt very different. It felt like a chapter had closed in a very emotional sort of a way, but it also felt very it relieved me in a way as well कि चलो यार हो गया ना, डिग्री हो गई है, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं, नौकरी करते हैं, अच्छी सी ये करियर बनाते हैं. So it was bittersweet. That's how I could phrase it in a social thing.
That is really inspiring, and our audience really want to know क्या चीज़ encourage की आपको how you started working at Telenor. What being encouraged you actually?
Okay, so it wasn't something that encouraged me necessarily. I've always been interested in working in different technologies and different domains. So while I was working as a QA analyst testing out gaming apps for a gaming studio called weRplay, I really wanted to try other things as well. Telenor Pakistan had this opportunity to work on IoT, Internet of Things products. It was something really different. Not a lot of companies were doing it at that time. Now you have a lot of startups and companies gearing towards IoT products. But at that time, Telenor Pakistan was one of the major competitors who were working in the domain and were starting to build products and sell them in the market. So you can say that they were sort of the first initiators when it comes to IoT products. At the time, the team was also just a year old when I joined it. So it was really just starting. It was sort of like a startup within the company. So those were the kind of things that motivated me, and I wanted to work in that domain. And so when the opportunity came, I applied. I went through the entire process, and I went for it. And alhamdulillah, it was a very fulfilling experience.
Alright, that's nice. And if we go back in time a bit, why did you choose COMSATS? Out of many universities, why COMSATS?
So the honest answer would be that actually I did not want to do computer science at COMSATS. I wanted to do the architecture program, but I have terrible handwriting. I have terrible drawing skills, so that didn't work out. The second option was to go for computer sciences. And at that time, I didn't have anyone in my family who was doing computer science. There wasn't anybody. There were engineers, there were doctors, there were teachers and educators, but there wasn't anybody who was specifically in computer science. And having received the admission letter from COMSATS for CS, I just thought like I should go for it. So the main motivation actually for CS was that nobody in the family was doing it. It was a new field. It would have been a new experience. So the track would have been unprecedented for myself as well as anybody in my family. But also, it would have been at that time. I just really wanted to start studying. I really just wanted to start my degree program, and I think it was also by divine intervention. Allah Ta'ala ne kaha ki CS hai to just went along with it. At that time, you don't think too much into these decisions, even though you should. At that young age, you should really pay attention into what kind of career path you want to have. Hota kya hai ki after FSC, you do not have that much time, you do not have that much knowledge on what kind of career you should have or what kind of path you should be on. And because you just finished your FSC exams, foreign shuru ho jate entry test. You just stopped studying for FSC, now you're studying for the entry test. And in that period, you don't have the time to assess कि यार अच्छा क्या अच्छी options हैं. COMSATS की ये अच्छी बात है कि it provides an equal playing field for everybody. यहाँ पे it doesn't matter which school you come from. Once you join COMSATS, it's an equal playing field for everybody. अगर आपको system समझ नहीं आया, then you're equally doomed no matter how many A stars or how much like score you had in FSC. So it's equal for everybody. And at that time, I didn't have this realization, but जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ते गए सेमेस्टर्स आगे चलते गए और आपकी डिस्कशन होती रही फैकल्टी के साथ, एंड ऑफ कोर्स आफ्टर ग्रेजुएटिंग एंड गोइंग टू द वर्कफोर्स ये बातें बहुत ज़ोर से आई कि यार COMSATS was the best option for me specifically, even though it was a tough journey at times, but it was the best option for me at that time.
Alright, that is really like inspiring me a lot. So, do you still remember your classes or your teachers? या फिर should I consider कि teachers अक्सर याद करते हैं students को कि यार अच्छा ये बंदा late आया था या assignment नहीं submit की थी तो I should remember his या her name.
So the memories that I have from COMSATS, I remember all the people. I remember all our teachers. Those are a few things that I don't think I can ever let go of, because when I think of COMSATS, it automatically goes to the people that I was with. My 4 years were really defined by the people that I was, my friends, my classmates, the people that I met on our bus. Like, you have your classmates who become your friends, and then you have your busmates who become your friends. So overall, if you're a social butterfly and if you're very socially inclined towards meeting new people and whatnot, you can meet a lot of people in COMSATS. And even if you're a bit reserved and you're not that socially active, even then it's really easy for you to have your own group and your own clique, and it's really easy to make friends in COMSATS. That's the main answer. But when it comes to the teachers as well, it's always been a two-way street when it comes to giving a tough time, because my classmates and I, we were very cheeky and mischievous. So if our teachers would give us a tough time, we would give them an equally tough time when it came to like cracking jokes or whatnot. But yeah, that fun, halla gulla, the masti karte the hum sare. That's one of the most memorable things. And even if you do not remember how low you scored on a test or a quiz or an assignment, वो जो मजाक होता है आपका उस क्लास में, क्लास के बाहर, वो जो आपकी memories होती हैं, जो moments होती हैं, वो आपके साथ हमेशा रहती हैं. Exactly. By the end of it, you do not remember your grades. You might not remember that really well or how badly you did on a test or a quiz or an assignment, but you do remember the fun you had with all the people you were with.
No doubt. इसके अलावा like being social, क्या ये आपके studies पे कभी affect हुआ है? Like ऐसी like you said कि बहुत ज़्यादा cheeky type सी आपकी class थी और बहुत ज़्यादा social थी, यहाँ काफ़ी friends वगैरह थे, तो कभी ये चीज़ आपके studies पे कभी affect हुई है?
Of course होती है. There's not like a guide for you to balance both of them. You cannot balance having a social life and then of course making sure that you're studying as well. My friends would think that I forsaked my social life for my studies, but for me, I really tried my best to ensure that I had a balance, that I did study well and got good grades, but I also made sure that I had equal amounts of fun and had those memories with my friends. Like we did birthday parties, or we celebrated our last semesters at COMSATS equally with equal enthusiasm and whatnot. So Finding that middle ground, it's very hard. But if you're able to find that middle ground during your university years, it helps you a lot once you enter the workforce, because that shows that you can effectively manage your time, but you can also prioritize things that are valuable to you. And those things change over time as well. So it's a natural process of evolution, I suppose, that comes with time, with experience, with age. But yeah, so finding that middle ground, I think it's a bit hard, but you can do what you have to do.
Exactly, it's really tough for the students के एक social अपनी life को और academic life को balance करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. And I'm so glad कि आपने balance कर दिया उस चीज़ को. So like, were you a bright student or an average student? And how it served in your life later in life?
I think I was just a normal student, not overly bright, not overly average, somewhere in the middle. I always like being in the middle. I think it's a safe place to be. You're not putting high expectations on yourself as well, but you're not also at the other end of the stick where you're getting scolded for not being that studious. Because the truth is, in our society, a lot of things for our parents, for our siblings, for our extended acquaintances, grades matter a lot.
Exactly.
Even though this perception changes over time, once you enter the workforce, you come to realize that the value of grades isn't as high as you all put it to be. This is not to say that you should not focus on your studies and you should not aim for good grades, but the reality is that you can be sitting in a meeting room with somebody who has scored more or less than you, but if they do not have those skills, it doesn't really matter how high they score. Somebody with low amount of scores could equally present an idea in a structured and well thought out manner, and they could be really good technically as well. But somebody who has scored exceptionally well in their university days, it's possible that they do not even know how to approach a problem and find a well thought out solution for it. So if you're at university at this moment, you should not only focus on your technical skills, you should also focus on how well you develop your soft skills as well. How well you approach resolving problems, approaching like complex problems and peeling down those layers and finding the right solution for it. This comes with time as well. But if you start practicing, then naturally you'll come to a stage where not only will you become a leader at one point, but you'll become an all-rounded person who can approach any problem out of any domain and somehow figure a solution for it.
Exactly. और ये बात बहुत कम बच्चों को समझ आती है कि स्टडीज़ के साइड बाय साइड एक्टिविटीज़ भी ज़रूरी हैं. सो आई थिंक यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत मेमोरी आपकी जुड़ी होती है. बाद में भी जब जाओ आप ग्रेजुएशन के बाद 4-5 काफ़ी साल बाद भी आपको यूनिवर्सिटी की लाइफ हमेशा याद रहती है. तो आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी की क्या ऐसी मेमोरीज थी जो आपको याद रही, या यूनिवर्सिटी या कॉमसेट्स का स्पेशली क्या रोल था जो कॉमसेट्स ने प्ले किया आफ्टर योर ग्रेजुएशन?
There have been so many memories. बहुत सी ऐसे दिन थे जो they're just etched on my heart and my brain. I cannot forsake them. I cannot even forget them. एक जो memorable moment है, and it didn't happen on the university campus, but it was our convocation. The convocation day sort of just brought everything full circle. When you see your parents sitting, in the convention center, and you're walking and you're getting your degree, even though it's not your degree at that time because those haven't been printed yet. But even when you're just receiving that sort of a folder and your degree, and you're walking on the aisle and you're going towards the person who's giving you the degree, awarding it to you. It's such a memorable moment because, and I do believe that COMSATS does a really good job at the conversations. I do not know what they do for it now, but at that time it's one of the most special memories that I have, because it attested that you went through a very up and down journey during your 4 years. You had good days, you had bad days, you got good grades, you got bad grades, You had amazing teachers and you had tough teachers, but you're here now, you've graduated, and now it's your time to enter the workforce. So go ahead and, go after those dreams that you had. It's sort of like that push you needed. It's also bittersweet because you're saying goodbye to a journey that you worked really hard for. And even though on campus you make a lot of memories, no matter how big or small your group is, you'll make a lot of memories in this campus. But for me, the convocation stands out as a very special day, and not only for me but for my family as well. And having all your friends graduate at the same time, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you throw your caps in the air after receiving your degrees, that's a really fun.
And if I ask you to describe your experience at COMSATS in just a single word, वो क्या होगा?
Single word?
Yes.
A single word. Okay. Amazing.
Amazing.
I know it's not as exciting. It's one of a kind, unique, but really amazing as well.
All right. And do you still remember your favorite spots at COMSATS? कोई एक मजे की जगह जो memories जहाँ पे ज़्यादा आपकी बनी हो?
Okay, so we can actually see a lot of the campus from where we're sitting right now. Over there is the old cafe. A lot of memories were made there. The one cafe, the main cafe that we had, I know it's been changed now. It's gone indoors. Unfortunately, a lot of memories were made over there as well. And another place that I think a lot of people might not remember, it's the bus stand where all the buses are. And right at 2:30 when you'd be walking up that slope towards your buses, even though it's you're already tired and you have to make that trek up, and you just stand there and wait for your friends to join you. Yeah, that's a really fun spot as well for friends to come.
That's nice. I'm so glad कि आपको अभी तक वो चीजें सब याद हैं. And graduation के बाद आपको कितना time लगा in finding your first employment?
It took me a few months actually. Not gonna lie. For a lot of people, it can be really fast. Some people do find employment while they're still in university. For me, it took some time because I was having a hard time figuring out which direction I wanted to take. I'm not sure about the direction I want to have my career in, but at this stage, I've come to realize that in your 20s, you should try out different domains within not only your own field, but other fields as well, and figure out where you're good at and what actually makes you not happy, but satisfied. It's really easy to say that, make your passion into a job and so you won't have to work another day. But jobs become tiresome, even if it's something you're really passionate about. Exactly. So if you're working towards something that satisfies you and you're good at as well, then that's a career path that'll be long. You'll ensure longevity as well, and you'll ensure that you're consistently performing well in that domain as well. So it took me a few months, and I'm really glad with where I am right now in my career path. And I don't know where I'll head next, but inshallah to bigger and better places.
That must have been a struggle for you. Definitely graduation के बाद काफी tough time आपको लगता है job वगैरह ढूंढने में. So, what advice would you give to the current students as well as for the prospective students of COMSATS?
If there's one thing I've learned in these past 4 or 5 years working both in the corporate side, startup industry, as well as doing a bit of freelancing on the side as well, I've come to realize that it doesn't really matter how technically skilled you are. You can learn technical skills at any stage of your life. That is not an issue. If you believe that you do not know a specific set of programming languages or you're not as advanced as other people, learn them, but also focus on your soft skills. A lot of people actually get lag behind because they do not have the soft skills that can ensure that they effectively communicate with their stakeholders, they're able to present their ideas and thoughts in a well-structured manner, or basically handling a team. No matter how technically skilled you are, if you're not able to effectively communicate, if you're not able to collaborate, and if you're not able to manage your stakeholders in a structured manner.
Mhm.
Finding structure in a really messy situation is not something that's really easily taught. You only learn that with experience. But right now, one of the really important skills that all students can learn is how to effectively communicate. If you know those skills, you can, trust me, you can do any job in the world. It's really easy to find a good job, and if you're just able to make somebody understand your idea, like in layman terms, no matter what level they are at, if you're able to make them understand your idea and present it in a very easy to understand manner, you've done half of your job well. And you're on the path to succeed, in no matter which field you are.
That is actually nice, and it's very inspiring for me. And I hope the same for our audience. And thank you so much for giving your time to us, and thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Like, अभी to be very honest, I can sense कि यूनिवर्सिटी का एक्चुअली कितना इम्पोर्टेंट रोल होता है आपकी लाइफ में, आपकी ग्रेजुएशन के बाद. लाइक यू कैन हैव दीज कोर्सेज ऑनलाइन, बट यूनिवर्सिटी का बहुत एक मेजर रोल होता है आपकी करियर में, आपकी ग्रूमिंग में. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for all the sweet words for actually COMSATS, and it was really nice talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a memorable experience so far. Thank you for letting me revisit COMSATS and become a student again for a few moments.
It was really a pleasure for us, and it was really an honor for us actually. And thank you so much for your time, and please give your valuable comments, valuable responses in the comment section. Thank you.